What's up, guys? My name is Shamor, and as always, we're going to be talking about my top picks for the English Premier League games coming up this weekend. Let's get into it. Now, the first game we're going to be covering is Wolves versus Liverpool. Now, this is a very highly anticipated game, especially for me. No, Wolves have not had, the best of luck since the Premier League started, but they're definitely kind of sort of improving. Every single game they played. They lost against Crystal Palace in the previous game, but I personally think they actually played relatively decent. It wasn't a bad game. They could have definitely won the game, but they should have just closed on the chances that they actually got to score. And obviously Crystal Palace, definitely pounced or definitely took the chances they got. And they actually won the game because of that. Liverpool, however, have been improving. They started out the season a little bit questionable, but each game it seems like they've improved in quality. So I am definitely excited to see where Liverpool actually ends up for this Premier League campaign. But we will see. But with that said, my top picks for this game would be for Liverpool to win the game, for Salah to score anytime during the game, and for over 9 corners in this game in total. Now, the reason why I went with those top picks is, as I said earlier, Liverpool have been improving every single game, and I don't think they'll want to stop their momentum for this particular game. They're definitely have an advantage over Wolves, seeing that they're the better team. Even though they're playing at Wolves' home stadium, it's definitely not going to be easy because Wolves will most likely take a defensive approach coming into the game against Liverpool. So they'll definitely more go for a draw or maybe even a win. You never know. So it's not going to be easy for them, but at the same time, it is definitely an opportunity for Liverpool to definitely get secured 3 points in this game. So because of that logic, anyone can see that they'll definitely put their hearts on the pitch to get that 3 points. And they also have the better team. And as I said earlier, they've definitely improved on their chemistry over the last few games. So it's a no-brainer for them to actually take this one home. So Liverpool to win, definitely. Mohamed Salah has been very, very consistent in the last few games that he has played. He has almost always been on the score sheet, and I definitely see him doing the same for this game. Because of the nature of this game, where I can tell that Liverpool will definitely, as I said earlier, want to win, obviously that will also equate to them actually acquiring a lot of corners and set pieces. Liverpool are definitely known for doing relatively well at corners. So I definitely see them taking an advantage of that in this game. So those are my top picks for the Wolves versus Liverpool game, and let's get into the next match. Second game on the list is Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Now, this is also a very, very highly anticipated game on my list. I am definitely a fan of Aston Villa. I do think they have they almost have what it takes to finish top 5, but it's just something missing, and it's the consistency. When Aston Villa is on their game, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Honestly, they have amazing chemistry. They have amazing players. I don't know, they just need to find something in the team to just get that extra push to push them into the top 5. Now, Crystal Palace will definitely not be a walkover either. Like, Crystal Palace have been playing relatively well in their last games. They definitely, as I said earlier in the previous matchup, they actually got a win over Wolves. And I definitely see Crystal Palace actually coming into this game against Aston Villa with a little bit of confidence, seeing that they actually won their previous game. So they're definitely going to be that high in the players where they're going to want to obviously secure another 3 points, seems that they've been successful against Wolves in their previous matchup. So my top picks for this particular game would be for both teams to score over 2 goals in the game and over 9 corners in this game. So for both teams to score is definitely highly likely. I don't see how Aston Villa will play against a team like Crystal Palace and not actually secure at least 1 goal. And same for Crystal Palace. They look good in their forward line. They have very skillful players playing in the upper forward line of their team. So I definitely see them actually breaking down Aston Villa's defense and actually scoring at least 1 goal in this game. So both teams to score, definitely highly likely for that to happen. Over 2 goals in this game, I do think with the fact that both teams will score, obviously I don't think this game will finish at just 1-1 or 1 goal to 1. I do see a team actually coming out as the victor. I'm just not sure who will be the victor. It could be Crystal Palace, it could be Aston Villa. I'm leaning toward Aston Villa, but this is soccer, you never know what will happen. But yes, so that's my second pick. The third pick I'll be covering today would be over 9 corners. With that said, it will be a very highly competitive game, and so I do predict for them to actually acquire a lot of corners in this game due to the fact that they're going to have 2 teams that are kind of on the same level. So definitely see them bringing the heat, bringing the tension, and definitely see them acquiring a lot of corners as well in this game. So those are my top picks for the Aston Villa and Crystal Palace game, and let's get into the next match. So the third game on the list is Fulham versus Luton Town. Now Fulham have not had the best start to the Premier League this season. They're literally at the bottom of the table, and I see them trying to actually finish somewhere above the relegation zone, but I don't know. Luton Town is the same. They have definitely not been at the level that they require to actually survive in the Premier League. Fulham is also not doing very well, but Fulham is doing a little bit better than Luton Town in my opinion. So it really could go either way in this game. Fulham is definitely the better team. Luton Town is not necessarily a bad team. They're just not at Premier League level standards as yet. But it's good that they're getting exposure, they're getting experience. It's their first time in the Premier League, so it's gonna take some getting used to. So with that said, my top picks for this particular game would be for both teams to actually tie, or both teams to come to a draw. I know Fulham will definitely push for a win, but same as Luton Town. Luton Town will definitely actually look for a win also. They're playing a team like Fulham, which, as I said earlier, has not been at their best. And Luton Town will, as personally for me, if I'm a manager, I will look to take advantage of this opportunity and actually see if I can secure 3 points so I can stay above the relegation zone for this season. So every point counts, and at least getting 1 point in this game would be very, very, very useful for Luton Town to actually stay above the relegation zone. So I do see this match coming out as a draw overall. Fulham might win, but I think it's more level towards the game actually just coming off to a draw. So the second pick we're going to be discussing is for both teams to score in this game. So I do see where goals will be scored, and I think Fulham might score the first goal. I don't know, but I do see goals in this game. I see Fulham scoring, and I also see Luton Town actually getting a goal as well. But as I said earlier, not sure who will actually come out as the victor. I'm more leaning towards this game actually coming out as a draw. Next pick we're going to be discussing is over 2 cards in this game. Obviously, you're going to have two teams that are going to be going head to head to actually get at least 3 points in this game. And it's a very crucial 3 points. So I see them bringing the aggression, to the pitch. And with that said, obviously I do see them actually acquiring, some fouls that will lead to them getting yellow cards or maybe red. Who knows? Both teams to receive a card, definitely highly likely. That's my fourth pick for this game. So both teams to receive a card, Fulham to get a card and Luton Town to get a card is definitely something that will happen. And just to mention, these picks, I personally do bet builder so I can string them all together so I can maximize my profit. But it's up to you. You can choose whichever pick you see that will more likely to happen, or maybe you think that this pick is the best pick to go with. It's up to you, but you can go with putting all these picks together in one bet build. I don't know how to explain it, but basically you can string them together or you can bet them separately, but it's up to you. So those are my top picks for the Fulham and Luton Town game, and let's get into the next game. So the next game we're going to be covering is Manchester United versus Brighton. Now, this is going to be an action-packed game. I'm not so fond of Manchester United's performance for this Premier League season. I personally thought they were going to do a whole lot better, seeing that they've improved drastically in the last parts of the season when Erik ten Hag had taken over the club. They've improved as a team. Their chemistry was looking great. They were actually scoring goals. And they did manage to move from all the way from 6th spot in the table all the way to 3rd, which is very, very impressive. They've wiggled their way into the Champions League, and with all that effort put into the squad, for them to just come into the new Premier League and just not quite there yet. I don't know what's going on with Manchester United, but something is going on in the club where they're just, I don't know, there's just a disconnect in the team. They have amazing players. Some of the best players in the Premier League is on Manchester United, but for some reason their chemistry is just not there. It's either they're just not communicating. I don't know if the players feel uncomfortable playing on the pitch. I don't know if they feel pressured. I don't know what exactly is going on at the club, but something is definitely going on internally that's causing Manchester United to perform the way they are. But in this game, they're playing against Brighton, a very formidable team. They're playing at Old Trafford, at Manchester United's home stadium. Manchester United personally doesn't have the best track record playing at their home stadium, but I do see them, actually maybe securing 3 points in this game. I honestly, at this point, I don't know if they even can actually secure 3 points against Brighton, because Brighton is, as I said, is a very formidable team. So with that said, my top picks for this game would be for over 2 goals to be scored in this game, both teams to score, and for over 9 corners. Now let's get into these picks. So over 2 goals, very likely. Actually, if you want to put over 3 goals, that is also very likely to happen. As I said, Brighton is a very formidable team, and I see them coming all out on the pitch against Manchester United. I don't see them looking for a draw. That's not their style. They're definitely an attacking style team, and they look to maximize as much goals as they can get as possible. Manchester United defense is not very good at this moment, so them breaking down Manchester United defense is something that can definitely happen. Even though Manchester United recently secured a new defensive midfielder, I don't even think that player would be enough to even help against the Brighton forwards. So I do see over 2 goals being scored in this game, and that's also very likely to happen. The second pick, both teams to score. Absolutely. So I do see Manchester United scoring and Brighton scoring also. Not sure who's going to win, but I do see both teams being on the score sheet. And over 9 corners, it will be a game where you're gonna have both teams attacking each other throughout the full game, and for them not to go over 9 corners is, I don't know how they would not go over 9 corners, but I do see them actually kicking over 9 corners in this game. Seeing that Manchester United has been utilizing more of their set pieces, in this new Premier League campaign. So I do see over 9 corners being acquired in this game for in total combined. So those are my top picks for the Manchester United and Brighton game, and let's get into the next match. So the next game on the list is Tottenham versus Sheffield United. Now Tottenham has been incredible in their last few games that they've played. They're also a team that has improved drastically since they first started the Premier League. Somehow these new players that they've acquired is just gelled into the squad. Like, their chemistry is actually really good in Tottenham. And just to kind of draw a memory to Manchester United earlier, if Manchester United could get that chemistry like Tottenham, they could very well win the Premier League, or maybe be on par with Manchester City's level at this point. But who knows? Maybe one day that will actually happen. But Tottenham has been a very good team in the last few games. They've definitely been playing very, very well. And I do see them actually performing well in this matchup as well against Sheffield United. This is an incredible opportunity for them to secure another 3 points in the Premier League, and actually, just kind of like boosting them to the top, boosting them to the top where they currently are against Manchester United and Liverpool. So I definitely see them dominating this game. Sheffield United has not been that great in the Premier League, so for them to actually pose a threat to Tottenham is very, very, very low. But at the same time, this is football. It's all about who wants it more. But these are two teams that definitely wants it just as much as the other team wants it. These are two teams that have two different ambitions. And I do see Tottenham actually, getting closer and closer to their ambition in this new Premier League campaign. But let's get into the top picks. So my top picks for this game would be for Tottenham to win by 2 or more goals in this game, for Son to score anytime during the game, and for under 5 cards in this game in total. Now, let's talk about those top picks. So for Tottenham to score 2 or more goals in this game, or win by 2 or more goals in this game, is very, very, very likely to happen. As I said earlier, Tottenham has created amazing chemistry in their squad, and they've been improving since their first game in the Premier League. So for them to win by 2 or more goals is definitely likely to happen, and for Son to be on the score sheet is definitely highly likely to happen as well. I definitely don't see where Son will pass up an opportunity to put his name on the score sheet against a team like Sheffield United, where I wouldn't necessarily say easy pickings, but it's definitely not their hardest game. It's definitely more of a uphill battle for Sheffield United. So I do see Tottenham dominating the game and scoring as much goals as they possibly can. Because of that, I do see Tottenham having more of the ball, basically isolating Sheffield United in this game. So Tottenham will have majority of the possession. And with that said, I don't see them actually getting a lot of cards in this game against a team like Sheffield United. Sure, it will be competitive. Sure, it will, be a tough game for them at the same time. But I don't see them actually, just putting themselves in positions to, get yellow cards or get bookings and actually getting players banned or suspended against a team like Sheffield United. But you never know. But the best prediction to go with is for under 5 cards to be issued in the game in total. And so those are my top picks for the Tottenham and Sheffield United game. And let's get into the next game. So the next game we're going to be covering is West Ham versus Manchester City. Now, This is going to be a fun game. West Ham United has been relatively okay in the Premier League. They've performed at the level that they always have performed. They haven't made much changes to their squad. So, as I said earlier, it's pretty much the same level how they've always performed since last season. But they're definitely not an easy team to beat, that's for sure. So, them actually playing against Manchester City, I definitely see West Ham actually going into this game knowing that City is obviously the better team, but I do see them bringing their hearts and soul to the pitch. They're playing at their home stadium. So Manchester City is visiting West Ham, and as I said earlier, this is a team that has amazing chemistry. So if they link up and they link up well, they can actually hold off Manchester City, because I've seen teams that aren't even on the level of West Ham hold off Manchester City before. So West Ham is definitely likely to do the same if they actually just put their minds to it and go with the strategy that the manager has laid out for them and execute it very, very well. But anyway, Manchester City is also a team that pretty much demolishes any team they come in contact with at this point. They're way ahead of pretty much all the teams in the Premier League in terms of quality, and how they play is amazing. So, it's not going to be easy for West Ham United at the same time, even though they're actually visiting West Ham. So my top picks for this game will be for both teams to score for over 3 goals in this game, over 9 corners, and for Erling Haaland to score anytime during this game. Let's talk about those picks. So over 3 goals in this game is definitely likely to happen. You have a team as like West Ham I don't think West Ham is gonna settle for, maybe drawing the game or play defensive. Obviously, they're gonna have their defense is gonna be on high alert because they're playing against Manchester City. But I see them pushing towards a win. Like, West Ham United is not a team to just lay back and say, well, let's just try to get a draw. No, I see West Ham United challenging Manchester City's defense and actually maybe cracking it and scoring actually a goal in this game. And with that said, Manchester City will likely try to do the same. So I predict this team will go for a strategy for an attacking style, play football against Manchester City. Manchester City will obviously do the same. And if you have 2 teams that are out for goal for the other team, you're definitely going to have a recipe for a goal-filled game. So I do see over 3 goals in this game in total for both teams. Both teams definitely have the quality and have the players to do it. And I do see that actually happening in this game. And for both teams to score, as I said earlier, West Ham will be looking to going for more of an attacking style play football. Personally, that's what I would do as a manager, and I know West Ham manager will definitely go with that approach also. But both teams to score is definitely highly likely to happen, and I will definitely lock that in. Over 9 corners in this game. As I said earlier, you have 2 teams that are going to be at each other's throats. So not having over 9 corners would be an understatement, honestly. So I do see over 9 corners in this game being acquired or being kicked, because you have 2 teams that's going to be, at each other's throats, as I said earlier. So that's definitely likely to happen. For Erling Haaland to score anytime during the game is also something that will definitely for Erling Haaland to score anytime during the game is also something that is highly likely to happen. This guy has been on incredible form. He's scored in every single game. No, not every single game, but in almost every single game that he has played, he's actually scored a goal. And playing against a team like West Ham, he's going to want to be the hero. He's going to want to be the man, to bring Manchester City ahead, and them securing the 3 points, he's going to be a key player that defenders are going to look out for. But come on, you can't stop a guy like Erling Haaland. This dude is 6'5". He's enormous. So he's not an easy player to stop, even if you try. So I do see Erling Haaland actually securing at least 1 goal in this game. So definitely go ahead and lock that in. And enjoy your winnings. All right, so those are my top picks for the West Ham and Manchester City game, and let's get into the last but definitely not least game. So the last game we're going to be covering is Newcastle versus Brentford. Wow. So this is a very, very, very highly competitive matchup. You have a team like Brentford that's going to be playing very attacking style football, and you have a team like Newcastle that definitely has the quality to score goals also. So this is a recipe for disaster. I would say disaster, but this is a recipe for a goal-filled game. You have 2 teams that definitely have the quality to score. Brentford, personally to me, has an edge over Newcastle in terms of just how they've been playing. Newcastle hasn't had the best luck in their previous games that they played. So I'm leaning towards Brentford actually taking the win, especially seeing that they're playing against a team like Newcastle. But they're playing at Newcastle's home stadium, so it's not going to be easy. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the top picks. So my top picks for this game would be for over 2 goals, for both teams to score, for under 12 corners in this game, and for over 2 cards. Now, for both teams to score would be an understatement. Obviously, both teams will score in this game. So let's talk about my top picks for this game. So for over 2 goals in this game is definitely highly likely to actually happen. You have a team like Brentford that plays straight attacking style football. They always go for goals. And Newcastle will definitely do the same. So with that said, I do predict for over 2 goals to be scored in this game in total for both teams. For both teams to score also, I do see Brentford and Newcastle getting on the score sheet. So definitely go ahead and lock that in as well. For under 12 corners in this game, based on the last games that I've watched with Brentford, for some reason, even though they play very attacking style football, they normally don't get a lot of corners at all. And yeah, it's for both teams combined, but I don't see Newcastle actually getting a lot of corners either. Yes, they will be playing to score goals, but they're kind of on the same level. So I don't see Newcastle dominating the game or anything like that, and just keeping majority of the ball and attacking Brentford. I don't see that happening. But based on the last games that I personally watched with Brentford, they're not the team to necessarily go for corners or try to win corners. So I don't see, this game going over 12 corners for both teams. I definitely don't see that happening. There will be corners, but they're not going to be that much corners for them to go over 12. Last pick we're going to be covering is over 2 cards. Over 2 cards in this game. As I said earlier, these are both teams that's going to be pushing for a win, and so you're definitely going to have players that's going to be aggressive for that win. And with that said, you're going to also obviously attract cards in this game. So for over 2 cards in this game issued is something that is definitely highly likely to happen. So go on ahead and lock those in, guys. And thank you so much. And so those are my top picks for the Newcastle and Brentford game. As I said earlier, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. If these picks have been useful, guys, definitely like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's nothing's better than actually making money. And so if these picks are working for you, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and share the video with your friends so they can also tune in and take these tips. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. that happened a couple days ago. But thank you so much again for clicking on this video. I'll see you in the next one.